Yo, what's up, legends? Welcome back to another video on the channel. You join me on episode 2 of the From Scratch series. We're going to do big room techno from scratch using, I think, predominantly, probably only the big room techno Vol.3 sample pack, which is out now on Rave Ready Samples. You guys have been going crazy on this one. The support has been insane. Already sold more than the Vol.2, which is crazy because it has not been out that long. I'm already working on big room techno Vol.4 as we speak, and some other ones as well, because I know how much this has helped a lot of you guys. I've seen a lot of stories that you've tagged me in. You guys making some absolute bangers with the vocals, with the sounds, with the kicks, and obviously I'm using this sample pack every day as well. Some of the sounds that you hear in this demo that we have is sounds that I'm going to every day because I just know it works, right? So what do we have so far? I'm gonna play it and see where we are.
Techno, trance, electro, acid rave, techno, trance, electro, acid rave.
So that's what we've got so far. It's sounded pretty tight. It's just sounding like it does sound, now that I'm listening to it like 2 weeks later, it does sound like a very rough demo. At the time I was like, yeah, this is crazy, but when you've got the rose tinted glasses on, you can think anything's the best song in the world. But now I'm listening back, production wise, you need a little bit of work here, and I think the master's going to do a lot of work here as well. It is sounding quite dull, but overall the idea works. Today what we need to do is start the breakdown. We can't just have drops in this song. It's not pure techno. If it was pure techno, we could do that. Keep the drums going through the break and then just slam another couple drops in. But because it has that EDM flavor, and I know a lot of you guys come from big room, so we need to have that EDM flavor in there to appeal to the wider kind of market with this. So yeah, Buildup needs work, definitely. I kind of, because this bass shot,
Techno.
It starts off, it doesn't start on the kick itself. It starts, see if we can show this. See, it starts here with a little gap there. We need a kick to like indicate that to the listener, because right now I think it just sounds a bit weird, but this makes more sense.
Techno, trance, electro, acid rave, techno,
Or maybe like
techno,
this.
trance, electro, acid rave, techno, trance, electro, acid rave.
So now what I need to do here is make more of a balance in the mix. Right now in the mix, I hear the highs could be better. The kick is solid. The sub, there's too much of a gap there, right, between the two. So what we need to do is try and balance that out. So how am I going to do this most effectively? I'm going to listen to only the kick. And I think the kick is fine. We can maybe even get a little bit more high end. I love this kick, by the way. And then we have the sub. So with the sub here, I'm going to try and boost it a little bit more. Yeah, we haven't done anything here, which is interesting. I guess last time was just about putting the idea together. What I'm going to take is the Puig Tech. Sorry if I've said that completely wrong. We're going to do my my little trick, which just gives big low end boosts. Now I've picked the mono one there. Sorry, it's the illness talking. It's the illness playing a part here. If we go for the stereo, because with this sub, it has some nice stereo characteristics. I don't want to lose that, so I'm going to try and keep that. and use the stereo version of the plugin. Listen to that. So what happens is the sub just gets a lot more tight, and it's because it's boosting the sub frequencies, which I always say it's like 3 layers, right? You've got like your sub, your mids, and your highs, right? Everything just needs to be fulfilled there, or it's going to sound empty. I hear a lot of good tracks where the highs in the lead are really high and the sub is okay, but it just seems too low. You're going to have a lot of gap there. So what you need to do is try and fill some of the low mids with like a mid bass then. But we're lucky that this Rumble has some good low mids already, so we're also kind of boosting that with this plugin. But that feels tight. Now let's see how the lead comes in now. Now if you've got headphones on, you'll hear that the gap in the mix just vanishes. This all just gets a lot more tight. That's what we're trying to do here. And what I'm doing now is just bringing the volumes down of stuff that I think is standing out too much. That sounded a lot better now to me. We need to try and fix this second drop because this has a different sub. I think it also needs a little bit of a brighten here. So what we're going to do is take the same plugin. Actually, you know what? Let's do... This is probably going to end up taking me longer. Let's take the exact same settings that we've got. What number was it? 20, right? 19. So I want to just take the exact same settings and bash them over there. So this we need to give a little bit less, I think. It becomes a little bit too intense. I would also like to sidechain it as well. So let's see what the plugins, the QuickTech and the Kickstart do, and we'll try and listen with and without. Oh, that sounds so sick. Yeah, this sounds a lot more balanced now as well. But with this, what I want to try and do is focus the low mids. I just want to try and fill that part a little bit because this rumble just doesn't have as much as the other offbeat sub does. Beautiful. Now what I want to try and do is try and make the lead a little bit more punchy and short. So instead of going through and shortening all the notes, I'm just going to use the transient processor and try and make that a little bit shorter. And maybe give it a little bit of attack as well. Don't like the attack, to be honest. I'm just going to reduce the release and make it overall sound a little bit shorter. So that all sounds great. We know the drums are good, I think. We'll just bring each element in one by one. Just when we're happy with what we've got, we move on. These were a problem for me in the mix. I thought these were too loud. Too quiet, sorry. Now this fill is also quite an important part of the drop, so we need to get the mix on this right as well. Let's try and smooth this a little bit. Now with this, I'm actually going to reduce the low end, the high end, because the high end of the lead just doesn't quite get to the high end in the rave synth fill. I need everything to be balanced. I don't want something standing out more than the other, especially when the main drop lead is the thing that's more dull and dark than these extra sounds. So everything needs to be sounding similar, like it's got the same processing. So that means we also might need to reduce some of the high end in the claps as well. So is this the same sound here? No, it's different. So what we're going to do is also bring down the highs on this, because, oh, sorry, that is actually the master. I put like a little high on the master there. We'll leave that. But this one, we're going to make sure that the highs aren't overbearing in comparison to the other rave synth fill. It's a little bit loud as well. But that sounds pretty similar now. So everything's a little bit more balanced. What I want to try and do is get the breakdown moving, because the melody is going to be important. So we need to try and get that going. And then we can focus on the build-up and stuff. The idea is, after the intro, we go straight into this.
Techno, trance, electro, acid rave, techno, trance, electro, acid rave.
Could do something like that, which would... so we're only going to use the first part here. So I'm thinking we're just going to copy that there, move everything along. I think with big room techno, this kind of big room techno, the EDM type, it's very much the intro drop is there's a lot of like strip back drops, basically, is what I'm trying to say. There's a lot of strip back drops, people showing off all their cool sound design, like sounds going left to right, all this kind of stuff. So we may as well try that as well. And then after that, we're going to go straight into another build up maybe. So as soon as that drop ends, we can go into
techno, trance, electro, acid rave, techno, trance, electro, acid rave.
This can be from the intro, so we can use this as part of the intro. So basically we're going to have 15 seconds of kicks, and then we go into this.
Techno, trance.
So the kick will be in a normal pattern like this.
Techno, trance, electro, acid rave, techno, trance, electro, acid rave.
So something like that. We're going to have some cool sounds in there. And then we go into this.
Techno, trance, electro, acid rave, techno, trance, electro, acid rave.
I like it a lot. So because the vocal, we need to constantly think of the theme. The vocal says techno, trance, electro, acid rave. We've got the acid covered, kind of the electro covered, got the techno covered, the trance. We need some trance sounds in here. So I'm thinking, because this is such a high energy track in the beginning, we kill the energy, and it's a trancey breakdown. So I have some cool trance presets that I've been using for a long time. We're just going to use here. We're going to use a MIDI from one of the Patreon packs.
Techno.
Nice. Now that's cool. So I believe I'm trying to get this in D sharp. Just to make sure it's in the right key, I'm just going to put it over the top of the drop so I can at least understand. That's how I work out what key a melody is. Because sometimes it's not just right there in front of you. Sometimes I trust my ear. Nope. Now, I don't really like the end of this melody for this track, actually. I want to see if I can change it a little bit. That's more like it. Can we do this? I think I like that. The thing with the melody in the beginning was a little bit too happy emotional, right? We need this to be dark, right? We're trying to do trance, but we're trying to do like more hard trance, not pure uplifting trance. So we're going to use this melody for now, I think, and try and put some kind of structure together. Now, what I want to do is tease this a little bit. So we're going to start it in this section here.
Techno, trance, electro, acid wave, techno, trance, electro, acid wave, techno, trance, electro, acid wave, techno, trance, electro, acid wave.
Let's try and find a sound, because this one is nice and you can do some cool stuff with the cutoff. This is kind of nice, has a good vibe.
Techno, trance, electro, acid wave, techno, trance, electro, acid wave, techno, trance, electro, acid wave, techno, trance, electro.
So now we're just going to try and automate this, give it a little bit of energy, give it some movement. We're going to bring in some pads later on and just try and get this structure going. This is all you really need for this kind of sound. You just need a nice trancey melody or like an ARP kind of sound just to keep the energy going. With the vocal as well, what I'm thinking to do here is just, because it's the whole theme of the song, this vocal, so just kind of filter it up really slowly.
Techno, trance, electro, acid rave, 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 techno, trance, electro, acid rave.
So then we're just gonna basically duplicate this monotone pattern here.
Trance, electro, acid rave, techno, trance, electro, acid rave, techno, trance, electro, acid rave, techno, trance, electro, acid rave, techno.
And there is our rough structure for the body of the song.
Techno, trance, electro, acid rave, techno, trance, electro, acid rave, techno, 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 trance, electro, acid rave. Trance, electro, acid rave, techno, 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 trance, electro, acid rave.
So what I want to do here is add a Reese bass. We need a Reese bass here. We need some low end energy. We need some darkness. Maybe we use this one from one of the Rave Ready FLPs. Oh, it's nice. It's crispy. So just gonna copy the bass pattern. Maybe you go higher here on the G sharp.
Trance, electro, acid rave. Trance, electro, acid rave, techno, 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 trance, electro, acid rave.
Now to give this a bit more energy, we're going to have some drive and hats throughout. What this does is it gives that techno energy. In techno, it's constantly moving, driving. There's not many moments where it's just hands in the air, you know. It's not like typical trances, so we're just going to keep that driving energy. Maybe have a kick which is like filtered out as well.
Trance, electro, acid rave, techno, 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 trance, electro, acid rave.
And what we're going to do is filter this. So I'm just going to take a simple on here and I'm going to filter. Actually, I'm going to set the filter how I want it with these two and then just toggle it on and off with this automation here. Rather than have two automation clips controlling both the highs and the lows, I'm just going to have set it how I want and control it on off.
Techno, trance, electro, acid rave, 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 techno, trance.
Now this is very, very repetitive, so this is where I'm gonna do the simplon for the vocal. Now I want a little bit more control here, so we're gonna start like this. Now I love this Reese. I actually love this Reese. However, this just does not carry the low end that I need. So what I'm going to do is make this Reese so much bigger. I'm going to give it so much more depth. And what I'm going to do is just duplicate it. And we're going to have a low end layer. So this will be the high end because this is perfect. It's got such a good crispy top to it. But we do need a low end. So I'm going to put it on its own mixer track, because we're going to mix this differently. And I'm going to pick Close Your Eyes, because I don't want you to see this, because I use this in every song. Hopefully you didn't see that. It's a great preset, and it's a very, very low. It's maybe too low. Wrong one. This should be okay. No, let's try this. Now this is going to provide the low end. I don't want to hear this top layer just yet. I want to make sure the low end's just right. Now I'm going to bring in the top, and we're just going to play a little bit with it, distort it a little bit, and play with the stereo field as well. We want this to sound like one Reese bass as opposed to two layered. So now it's super wide as well. This is going to sound so much bigger in the mix. We're going to need a light sidechain on this Spire pluck, because when the kick comes in, it does kind of like step on each other's toes a little bit. We need to have clarity there, and that will help with the rhythm as well. So as always, I'm going to just give this a little bit of room here, and we're going to bring on that sidechain there and then take it off. You don't want too much though. That sounds way too... Because a lot of the notes are on the kick, you don't want to kind of completely duck it. So with the DST, what I'm doing is focusing on the mids as opposed to the highs. We don't need this to be too high and crispy, because it will just be annoying. So in this part, what we're going to need is a second layer. We need this Spire pluck turned saw. We need to give it an extra layer, something that's interesting, and this Trance pack has lots of those. When we see this one go fully up, so it becomes a saw, that's when we're going to bring this other layer in. So the genius thing I just did there, these are the two base layers. So this is the top, this is the subby part of the Reese. I've put both of them into one channel, number 27, so that I can have one sidechain for both sounds because I'm lazy and I don't want to have to automate twice. So you'll see this automation turn on for both. Now I wonder if we can make this melody a little bit more funky. So it kind of gets doubled up almost. I just wanted to give the track this feeling of an increase in energy here, and I think doubling the notes will definitely do that. It takes a while to key them all in. Here, but how will it sound on the main pluck lead? Because that's all that really matters here. Let's see what we start on. So we start on an F#4, make sure, yeah, so that's 1 too high. Now you know what? It's overcomplicated. I don't like that at all. I really do not like that. And it's alright to try stuff because sometimes you'll be like, yeah, that sounds sick, I'm going to keep it. Other times you're like, no, that's garbage. This time, it's garbage. I also want to change the sound maybe. Now maybe for this sound we only use it in certain parts. Yeah. Maybe we even start like that.
Acid rave.
Yeah, that's it. Now with this pluck, I want to shave off some of the high end here, because I feel like it's too clicky. So 24, what we're going to do is take just a simple one again. I see the problem. I know you guys are screaming at me right now saying that this will also affect this sound. I know that I am ahead of the game here. I'm just going to have to put down a new mixer track, but this should sound smoother. What we're going to do is take this sound. I need to rename this stuff because you guys shouldn't have to go through this chaotic way of working that I use. Trance synth. And then we've also got Trance plug. So at least you can like understand which part I'm affecting basically. So 24, we need to copy that exact chain, put it on here. But now the simple one will not affect this sound, so it should work now.
Acid rave.
I really like this acid in this build-up in particular. So what I'm going to do is just tease it in a little bit. I do like that. It goes back to the acid theme, and we have it in the pre-drop anyway, so it'd be good to just tease it a little bit here. And we're just going to do that. Yeah, so I don't want it fully open until the pre-drop. So we're teasing it, but not fully. Now I'm also thinking with this, we need to cut off the highs again. So if we go to our Simplon. And maybe a phaser. So we're also going to use a flanger here on this little pluck sound, because when we filter this out, we want to give it a little bit of movement, and a flanger is quite a trancey kind of sound. So we're just going to bring this up on full. We're going to listen on its own to see what it actually does. Beautiful. It kind of takes it out slowly, but also gives it a bit of movement as well. So the breakdown's a lot brighter, a lot more highly processed. So it's important we balance these. So what I'm going to do is take the trance plug and I'm going to stick it over the top of the drop, and let's see how different that is than the drop sounds we have. We just need to take all of the EQ off. We need to take that flanger off as well. So we're going to remove that and remove this, and we should be able to hear it. Way too loud, so we're going to bring that down accordingly so that it mixes well with the drop. So that's the volume we're looking for our pluck sound. Just want to bring everything back on. Don't want to forget anything. So that's the sound we have to mix everything else to now. We may as well start with our volume automations as well. I always do this in every single song in my build-ups, and just gonna automate the volume and automate this stereo knob as well. So towards the drop, we're gonna drop, I would say 10%. I like to do 10% here, maybe a little bit more in this case. So we'll go down to like 56, and then we go up to like 62, and then in the drop we go back to our main number, which is 68. So that's what's going to happen with the volume. Looks a bit weird, but it sounds really, really cool. I'm going to go all the way up here with that, bring it to about there, and then back to 50, which means everything will just be how it was before. This is going to make everything feel quite narrow.
Techno, trance, techno, 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 trance, electro, acid rave.
So another glaring problem, the lead, it's just not quite fitting mix-wise. This is important that everything has to sound balanced, and by including sounds from your drop it over the top of the breakdown. How does that fit in the mix? Your break lead, stick it over the top of your drop. Is it too loud? So what I'm going to do is try and get this lead here. It's a little bit lost there, so we're going to try and boost that. So maybe the screech is okay with highs, but the main lead is just not crispy enough. Yeah. Increasing the volume of the kick as well. This is literally what I do when I'm mixing. I'm just going along, how do these sounds work in the mix? Is something too quiet? Is something not? And I'll flick between drop and break to make sure they have a good relationship.
Trance, electro,
I do like this sound a lot.
Techno, trance, electro, acid rave, techno, techno, trance, electro, acid rave.
Now we need a big downlifter here, so there is one that I use a lot, or used to use, not so much anymore, but this one is huge. We need something that is really, really big, because drop 2 needs to have a lot more energy.
Techno, trance, electro, acid rave.
That's sounding pretty good. What I'm going to do is just duplicate this so that we at least have the full structure done. We have an idea of how long this track is going to be now. We're just going to duplicate that. Maybe we have the hats there. We're going to need something else in this second part though to keep the energy driving. We'll look into that next time. Let's look at what we have so far. We have like a 4-minute song with 3.5 minutes, which is perfect for me. But let's check what we've got.
Techno, trance, electro, acid wave, techno, 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 trance, electro, acid rave.
Yeah, we'll fill this. This transition is horrendous. We need to think about a way we can do this. Maybe the acid doesn't work so well here. Maybe we go for this, something like this.
Techno, trance, electro, acid wave, techno, trance, electro, acid wave, techno, trance, electro, acid wave, techno, trance, electro, acid rave.
Okay, so what we have so far is pretty good. There's a lot of ironing out needs to be done, I will say, like with the drop lead. needs cleaning up a little bit. There's some frequencies that are just not sounding too good there. We can also layer another sound maybe for the second drop, but the energy is really good. It's something you could definitely play in the club. This switch up is insane. So yeah, sounded tight. Let me know what your feedback is for next time. I think we made a good start. There's some bits that I really like. Some bits we'll probably ditch. But overall, it's sounded pretty decent. Thanks always for your support and thanks for watching. See you guys next time.